notice, pretty much.
All right. Ben Bernanke, the Federal Reserve chairman, spoke at the National Press Club in Washington yesterday, where he reacted to newly proposed legislation that calls for auditing the Fed. He said to do so would violate, quote, a fundamental bedrock principle of central banking. Where does Bernanke get the notion that the Federal Reserve is exempt from any kind of oversight, or that secrecy is the bedrock principle of central banking? Ben, what do you think about this? You didn't expect him to say, okay, come and audit me, but to actually say that secrecy is a bedrock principle? Where does he get that from?
He says central bank independence is a bedrock principle, and what it really is a bedrock fiction. It's an inherently political institution, always has been, and has become even more politicized when they march arm in arm with the Treasury, orchestrating the Bush-Obama bailouts and managing our economy. It already is. In this case, he's just claiming the independence card because he doesn't like the people who are auditing him. They're critics instead of cronies, and that's why he doesn't like
Carolyn, don't even the liberals want to audit him? I mean, when Ron Paul proposed this in the first 2 years of President Obama's presidency, there were 300 members of the House who joined, including the then chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, a very well-known big government liberal Democrat named Barney Frank. So does Barney Frank and company want the Fed audited now that they're in the minority in the House?
Well, yes. I mean, folks on the far left are definitely getting together with libertarians on this. The idea that the Fed would somehow be above the law doesn't make sense. And I understand Bernanke's concern about letting short-term policy concerns drive the Fed, but I don't think that that's the trade-off. I think that we could audit the Fed without putting the Fed under short-term political pressure.
Do most bankers in America and most people on Wall Street want to know what's going on in the Fed, or are they happy if the money just keeps coming?
Well, they're happy because it's coming to them. You know, he starts off his press conference and says, I made 21,000 loans I wasn't going to tell you about until I got pressure. I bought mortgage-backed assets way over the market price.
Why do guys like Charlie Gasparino, who you and I know and love and respect, tell me you don't want to know what the Federal Reserve is doing? I do want to know. Well, what am I likely to find out if it's audited? We
may likely find out that it's a house of cards. And you know, we talked confidence earlier in the show. That might be the greatest risk.
Hey, Ben, might we find out that they've actually been running their own foreign policy, that they're loaning money to foreign governments, whether those governments are governments that preserve and protect freedom and private property or not?
I don't know if we're going to find out that or not, but what I do know is that when the government's got control of the money like it does in the Federal Reserve, throughout history, governments go through a cycle of deficits, debt, and debasement. And in the end, that's bad for the economy. Count me among your central bank abolitionists on the show. I think we don't need to just audit the Fed, but we need to end the Fed.
All right, Carolyn, I don't think I can get you to go that far, but can I get you to say that you would join with the cries of liberal Democrats and libertarian Republicans that do want to know what the Fed has been doing for the past 98 years? Mr. Bernanke, come and pay us a visit and bring all your ledger sheets with you. Signed, sincerely, Ron Paul.
Well, absolutely, Judge. I mean, we already have information about their data, you know, their actual transactions. But what Bernanke is really pushing against, has been pointed out, are critics who want to know how the Fed is making monetary and other policies like QE2, QE1 decisions. How are those decisions made? So we want to know the politics behind that, and we want to know how effective they are. And yes, I would certainly join in that effort.
Is he well respected, Ben Bernanke, in the banking community or just amongst his academic buddies at Princeton?
You know, I think that goes back and forth. That pendulum has been swinging back and forth pretty widely. I don't know that his policies have worked, except that they've lined the pocket of bankers. Yeah. That's about it so far.
Yeah. Charles Payne, Ben Powell, Carolyn Heltman, thank you very much. Have a great weekend, guys. Pleasure to have you.